Next speaker is head of the Polish delegation, Ms. Barbara Bartos. She will be followed by head of the Moldova delegation, Mr. Vladimir Boler. Ms. Barbara Bartos, the floor is yours. Thank you. Ms. Barbara Bartos, head of the Polish delegation, the floor is yours. And if something was missed, I will also mention that she will be followed by Mr. Vladimir Boler from head of the Moldova delegation. Ms. Barbara Bartos, the floor is yours.
She's just muted.
Thank you.
Interpreter.
Okay, interpreter.
Yes.
Can we put the...
Madam President, dear colleagues, 300 kilometers from Warsaw, behind the eastern border of my country, Poland, Russia has launched an unprecedented and brutal attack against its neighbor, Ukraine. Both countries are OSCE members. It is a gross violation of basic principles of the international law and the OSCE principles. War is not only a violation of international law, but also tragedy in the human dimension. War carries fear, suffering, and tears. Vladimir Putin, by invading Ukraine, turned the life of its citizens into hell. He filled the hearts and minds of our Ukrainian brothers and sisters with fear for their life and health. Many Ukrainian citizens, in particular women and children, were forced to flee from their homeland. They had to flee under a hail of bombs in haste and fearing about their future. From the beginning of the conflict, over 2 weeks, Poland received over 1.5 million of refugees, 1.5 million innocent, scared people who fled in panic their lives, seeing as their houses were turned into ruins. My country, Poland, its organizational structures, as well as throngs of my compatriots, we are making every effort to manage this humanitarian crisis. We have immediately launched a comprehensive system of assistance. It is sent directly to Ukraine, as well as to the Ukrainian citizens who are on the Polish side of the border. We simplified the procedures of border crossing. We created 35 major reception centers for foreigners. We adopted special legal solutions that make it easier for the refugees to legalize their stay and to live in these difficult circumstances. We ensured them access to education, healthcare, etc. Our government organized a special distribution center which collects all resources that will be later sent to Ukraine. In these unprecedentedly difficult times, our humanity is put to test. Millions of my compatriots opened their hearts and homes for our eastern neighbors. We want to give to Ukrainians at least a substitute of normal life. Poland helps everyone who's in need, without exception, regardless of their origin. Refugees who flee from a war-torn Ukraine that are citizens of such countries as Nigeria, India, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. If they want and need our help, we provide them with assistance to get back home safely. This help is our voice of resistance against Putin's savagery. Ukrainians are fighting not only for their country, they're fighting for freedom, peace, and security for entire Europe. Let me stress this. They are fighting to keep Europe secure. President Poroshenko has already mentioned it. Also, back in 2008 in Tbilisi, the president of my country, Professor Lech Kaczyński, said exactly the same thing when Russia invaded Georgia. Lech Kaczyński, the Polish president who died in a plane crash in Smolensk. Dear colleagues, each of us has their work to do. Parliamentarians, politicians, citizens, neighbors, we all can and we all must get involved in helping Ukraine. And we also must encourage those who who are not fully aware of what is happening in Ukraine to help too. Our role as parliamentarians from various countries is to
May I
encourage
remind
our
about the time?
governments.
Yes, of course.
Just one last remark. We must call upon our governments to be more determined in helping Ukraine and to adopt sanctions against Russia. Innocent people are dying, and women and children are raped, and I would like to say it in particular to Special Representative of the OEC on gender. Madam President, thank you for your work, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Poland.
Thank you very much, Ms. Barbara Bartos, and thank you for the invitation to Poland. I look forward for the important visit to get the broader picture about the situation for the refugees and the work that Poland do.